Before we get to the podcast, we wanted to acknowledge the sad news of the passing of fellow podcaster and amazing internet personality Bobby Pauls, the Nintendo guru. Our heart goes out to all those affected by this loss. We didn't know him personally, but really enjoyed his work and felt his positive force through the gaming podcast community online. I know this isn't much, and not really doing justice to the amazing guy he is, but thanks, Bobby. You are an inspiration to all of us. Wishing all the best for his family and friends during this hard time. Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast, episode 27. Tonight, we say happy birthday to the Switch. We talk about some Animal Crossing updates and the rumblings of the Switch Pro. That and more. Alrighty. I am joined tonight by my fellow Nintendo pal, Micah.
Yep.
And I am Andros. And we are joined tonight by super special guest from the All-N podcast, Seth. Welcome.
Hey, that's me. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
It is an honor to be here. This is my first guest appearance on any sort of podcast. I'm a fan of you guys and what you guys are doing. I listen to you guys. You're part of my rotation, so I am thrilled to be here with you, sir.
Wow. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't realize this was your first time. I feel like we snagged a legend early on then. So that's great. Because I also am a big fan of the All-N Nintendo podcast, so definitely go check those guys out if you haven't already as a member of our community. Great work over there.
I really appreciate that. We've had you on before, and we love it. We love it, and it's been great, getting to know you guys and hanging out in your community. So yeah, again, it's total honor to be here with you guys tonight. Well, there's tonight's gonna be a special episode, I think, because we're gonna be talking about there's not a ton of news to cover, but we're gonna be kind of reminiscing, if you will, as we celebrate what we just had with the Switch's 4th birthday, which is 40 in game console years.
It's pretty close around
2020 years.
Yeah, it's 40 in 2020 years, that's for sure. But we're a little over halfway through the console's lifespan, guessing.
Yeah, that's what they say.
And yeah, you guys were both early adopters for the Switch. Am I reading that right, Micah? Yeah. I know you got it day one. Shortly after?
I don't think I did.
Oh, really?
I struggled to get mine for a bit, but it didn't take too long.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was minute one.
I wasn't crazy enough to camp out in the freezing cold at 2 a.m.
Yeah. So I fortunately have a good rapport with my local GameStop. I worked there. I was one of the managers there for 7 years. So the guys who run that place now, I'm still pretty good friends with them. And they were like, yeah, dude, you got your Switch order here. I had my Breath of the Wild, all the amiibo. I must have spent, I don't even want to think about how much money that night. I was there midnight, day one, and I was so excited.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet, though.
It was an exciting time. I got to live in the hype without actually getting a Switch myself. I did not get a Switch day one, but I, for some reason, was coaxed in by our friend Eli to helping him get a Switch day one.
Yes.
So we all stood in different lines trying to make sure we could get one because he did not pre-order.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
He was trying really hard not to get one day one, and then the hype just overtook him, and he couldn't. It was days before. He's like, "Well, I've got to get one." And you can't pre-order at that point. It was all pre-orders were out.
Man. Yeah, no, when it comes to Nintendo stuff, and I've always been this way, I'm kind of a psycho about it. The second they fully revealed it, the second like GameStop was taking pre-orders, like everything from Amiibo, like I'm all about it, and I just yeah, I couldn't get it fast enough. I took a week off work when the Switch came out. Like
Nice.
it was serious.
Yeah, well, that's good. At least you got a Switch out of that deal. I stood out. Or I was freezing out in the middle of winter in Idaho, Best Buy.
Got it.
Yeah,
It
but
was
then you were
cold.
able to play through Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild on theirs, weren't you?
Yeah,
So
it was
you got a
basically
little bit out of it.
it was like a joint. It was like a joint console. I feel like my sacrifice. He felt a little obligated to let me use it, so I mean, it was worth it.
It worked out. It worked.
And now I have my own. I just want to clarify that I've been hosting this podcast for 27 episodes. I have
Every time a
my
new
own
game
Switch.
comes out, you call up Eli and ask if you can borrow his Switch. Try it out.
Dude, I need the Switch today. I'm sorry.
It's for the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump on over to the first segment of our show then and talk about what we have been playing with Whatcha Playin. All right. Seth, do you want to go first here? What have you been playing lately?
Yeah. Sure. I guess three big things. So I'm trying to 100% Super Mario 3D World. And 100%, for those that don't know, what that game means, you have to do every level with every character. So it's a task. It's a task. Phenomenal game, though. Like, if you guys have not checked that out yet, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is amazing. And I've just been having so much fun with that. So it's one of those things where, like, you know, every night I'll jump on, do a few levels. I'm up to World 6 now. I've done all 6 worlds with every single character so far. Gold flagpole, all of them. So that's...
You don't have to collect everything as every single character, so
No.
so that at least the last 3 are
Yeah.
like basically
Which is
speed
nice.
runs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. You can just kind of, and it's kind of cool actually to play the game that way, because like my wife was watching me and she was like, "I feel like you could like speed run this." I'm like, "Well, okay, I'm not that good." But you do kind of develop some strats, like some stuff like that, where you find these weird little ways to make it a little bit faster. And so I like playing the game that way. I'm not looking forward to doing Champions Road again 4 more times.
Yeah.
Because I did it once, and I'm not looking forward to doing that more than once. It's very, very hard. But yeah, it's been fun. Another thing I wanted to shout out so people know about it, because I feel like it's flying under the radar for a lot of folks, is Blue Fire, which is an indie game on the eShop. And it's basically like if Wind Waker and Hollow Knight had a baby, kinda. I know that sounds weird, but it's like a 3D platformer. It's got that kind of Metroidvania aspect to it. And I'm telling you, if you look at gameplay of it, the visual style, the combat, it literally feels like Wind Waker. And it's really, really good, man. Like I'm really enjoying it. And I want more people to be aware that this game exists, because it feels like I'm not really seeing too many people talk about it. So Blue Fire, check it out.
Yeah, that's
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, that's a great
I
looking
hadn't
one.
heard about that.
I'd heard about it, and I should have mentioned this to you, Micah, because this is like got your name written all over it. Wind Waker art style and kind of gameplay, but with like the challenge of something like Celeste, Hollow Knight.
It's hard. It's hard too. It does
Good.
not pull punches. Yeah, it's good. I really like it a lot. And another game, speaking of hard, last thing I'll shout out, Ghosts and Goblins, that just came out.
Nice, you
Been
picked that
playing
one up?
Nice. Yeah, been playing that. We're planning on All End. We're doing next week a full review of it. So I've been playing through that, and that's that's a mean game.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I was excited to see.
if you're familiar with the series.
Yeah, I was excited to see him get a little
If you're
tease
familiar
the
with
news.
the series, you know it's mean.
Yeah, tease the news a little bit. I'll excited he got a me costume. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool, and a spirit too, which is weird. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Nice, Micah. What have you been playing?
Well, I played some Fortnite yesterday with you. Shout out the High Explosives. Got the coolest dance. Yeah, it's Shanty for a Squad. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but highly recommend it. It's great.
I posted a video of it in the Discord that just of the song that was posted to YouTube, and yeah, that's the emote. Is if you get multiple people together, you're all singing this shanty. It is so good. It is so funny, and that's going to be our anytime we win, that's going to be our thing now.
I'm going to need you guys to Sherpa me on Fortniters. I've literally never played Fortnite, so ever.
Oh, that's the whole reason to get a Switch. Just kidding. Yeah. Please don't. Please, nobody at me in comments anywhere. I'm just kidding.
To be fair, the amount of hours I've put in practically make it worthwhile just for that.
It's a lot of fun.
Game, I mean, I'm super impressed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'd say we're not as into it as we used to be. Maybe there's just a lot more.
Maybe once a week now.
Got it.
Yeah. I play even less than that now. Probably once or twice a month. Just hop in and do stuff. Yeah, it's fun.
I just gotta see what the fuss is,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty different than your run-of-the-mill shooter, just because the building aspect changes it up a lot.
We've talked about it a few times on this show. It's a great time now to jump in as a beginner because they have greatly helped with the skill-based matches.
Matchmaking.
And they added bots so that when you're first starting out and just learning the controls, you can still
don't just get
victory.
Slammed.
Yeah.
That's good.
Whereas when we started, for some reason, when we started, we were enjoying just punishment. People were just so good. Yeah.
Yeah, just every once in a while you come across someone, you're like, is that guy a streamer or something? Because that was gross.
Am I getting laughed at on Twitch?
Yeah, for real. Hopefully he's not a popular streamer with too many people watching what I just did, but
it's Ninja. Whatever.
Oh, man. Yeah, besides that, I played some Rocket League a couple times.
Rocket League, man.
I'm trying to convince myself to actually get good at that game. They're professional players. One are people that have put a lot of time into, just do a lot of really cool things. And it's like, man, I kind of wish I could do that, but at the same time, I don't know if I have that kind of time.
Right.
Commit to it.
Oh yeah, sure. You don't have that kind of time. Talk about that other game you played this week, sir.
Oh, Panel de Pon? You mean that one? Yeah, so I played some of that with Andrew some verses, and I did pretty good the first match. I won 1 or something, and then he kind of schooled me.
Wiped the floor with him every other
little
match.
bit. And so I was like, man, it was late at night. I was like, I'm gonna put in a couple matches, practice, try and get a little better at this game to surprise him. And I went on to play for 8 hours in the extra hard versus mode.
Man,
so I played from 12:30 to 8:30 in the morning, and but I managed to beat all the levels, and it was a really good feeling telling him that I'd beat all of the extra hard levels.
He beat versus, which I've been trying to beat for several weeks at this point. He beat it in one night, fueled by defeat.
Yeah, for real.
I'm just so blown away. I feel like I need to we need to harness the superpower that you have.
This energy, that I sometimes randomly get. I wish I could be productive with it, but
revenge energy.
Yeah.
Revenergy. That's what we're gonna call it.
There you go.
Patent pending.
That game is so dumb. I've decided it. The extra hard is so broken. Nothing should be that difficult. I essentially just played on the last level for 4 hours until I luckily somehow won. But yeah, I mean, you're just so outclassed by that computer.
Yeah,
it's making matches so fast.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did get back into Animal Crossing just for some of that sweet Mario bling.
Yeah.
But now that I found out it's not limited time, I don't feel the need to go on every day to buy my limit of things. But so I actually also went diving in the ocean again. It was kind of nice since the first time there were quite a few new things to catch, including a spider crab, which I
Yeah.
spent like 15 minutes trying to catch. Even though I was moving slow to try and like not spook it, it kept just swimming away super fast. And eventually I managed to just kind of trap it in the corner of
That's
the
basically
ocean.
what you gotta do.
It was rough. I'd caught one before and it didn't like give me much grief, and then this one came up and I was like, what the heck is this? Like, why?
The spider crab, man.
I'm like,
they're fast.
I'm like Googling tutorials. I'm like, how do I do this?
It was, what was it? Like a month or two ago, they had I think it was the lobster. And Eric, my co-host on All In, he had told me how much trouble he had catching it. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to count and like see how many attempts it takes me to catch this thing. I was just out in the ocean, just catching everything until eventually one of them was a lobster. It was like 287 attempts, something like that, before I finally got a lobster. It was nuts.
Yeah, I feel like some of the stuff's a little too rare.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then super fast, like you said, you got to corner it and everything. You feel weird.
I was like, I don't know if it's just going to swim through the net. So before I'd been like trying to keep it away.
Right.
And I was like, well, I give up. I'm either going to catch it against the net or I'm done. I don't care
now
anymore.
You get the spider crab. It's this big old monstrous thing.
I want a bunch of them scattered all throughout my island. They're great.
They look kind of horrifying when you pull them out. I was like, is that a face sucker? Like, that's...
I've got one. I have a little... so my island is kind of like Japanese town themed, and I have a takoyaki stand. I have a spider crab running my takoyaki stand.
Nice.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, I think that's all I've been playing this last week, though.
Nice. I've been playing a lot of the same stuff because Mike and I tend to game together quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I also hopped back into Animal Crossing for the Mario items, and I don't know, it's gotten me back in. It's been long enough. According to my villagers, it's been 4 months, but it's been longer than that because I just logged on for like a single holiday event.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and so did that, and I had quite the mess to clean up. My son shares my island. He left stuff everywhere. I had to go pick it up. And, yeah, it's...
Just like in real life.
Just like in real life. It's...
You clean your room, Dad.
The Mario stuff is very cool. I really dig it. I like the utility of the warp pipe. It's so nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And awesome. Really like the coins and the just different interactable items. Excited to make something with it. I completely forgot about the Nook shopping limit per day. So I went in and just bought 5 1-up mushrooms and tried to buy another one. And it was like, you've reached your limit. I'm like, oh no, I can't believe I just spent this on 5 of the same item.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why. You already have to pay for it, and you already have to wait until the next day for it to ship. Yep. So, like, why put another barrier in front of the player, you know? So, it's frustrating.
Luckily, we have a pretty good friend group and community willing to hop in, and we were kind of all swapping and sending Mario items to each other. There's a bunch where it's like you just want to get a bunch of them, but you can't. It's an order limit. So like the coins,
especially like coins and blocks.
Yep.
I mean, you need a bunch of those to like really do something.
Yes, exactly. Anyways, I'm excited to make something. I actually have a space reserved on my island that I was going to make a theme park with and never got to. And so now that's just it's an empty spot. That's going to be a Mario little spot.
Mario theme park.
Yeah. Which I guess that's a good spot. We could segue right. Well, let me talk a little bit more about what we're doing here. I'm like, that's a good segue to news, but I do have a couple more games I've been playing. I also played Panel de Pon. I'm not going to talk about it.
How's that extra hard versus mode going?
I was to say, did you do the hard mode like Micah did?
Yes, yeah. So you have to do on hard mode. You have to like hold the B button, like push.
It's
up.
Like L up and then A.
Yeah, and that unlocks super hard mode in versus. And I wasn't sure on level 7.
It happened at first because like the only thing that really tells you that's happening is like the background goes red.
Yep. Yep.
Scary.
Yeah, it's very intimidating.
Yeah, I'm stuck
You're
on
hard mode, son.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
hard
wish I had that
hard
voice.
mode. I'm stuck on the mermaid level.
Nice.
Nothing says hardcore like mermaid.
Yeah.
Seriously,
hard mode.
I don't know how to win. I have gotten much better at the game, like crazy good at the game at making combos and stuff. I'm making combos as things are falling on the board. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna fall right into place. I'll just move these over, like
You
really
gotta let
fast.
you gotta let people build up a ton of like blocks, and then once you like change them so they start turning into the regular pieces, you rearrange the bottom of your board. You have to have a lot build up so you have more time.
Yeah.
You can set up like a bunch of combos.
Yeah, I'm seeing combos I never. Yeah, I am seeing things I've never seen before while playing Panel the Pawn.
But also, I can't recommend trying it. It's super hard mode. It's so dumb. It's literally not even fun.
I enjoy it. I think it's a good one, but it definitely can suck time away quickly.
I enjoyed it at first.
Clearly.
Besides that, I also jumped in and played a little bit of Mario 3D World. We're trying to clear through that on 100%. I'm probably not going to try and do every single character, but we'll probably just try and do the whole game, get all the stamps and all the
like
stars.
a sane person.
Like a sane person.
Kind of.
I don't know. Champions Road, I have not tried. Micah made me try one really, really difficult level once, and we never beat it in that session that we were playing. Because that was the first one I tried.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was Champions Road. I can't remember, but yeah. It just seems so long compared to other levels.
It is, and there's no checkpoints. Yeah, it's rough.
Brutal.
So I'm not looking forward to that, but I also am, because I do like the more challenging Mario levels. I really liked the bonus levels and worlds in Mario Galaxy. You know, you could get those like extra difficult ones. So I'm excited, looking forward to that. And yeah, besides that, not played a ton this week. It's been more just kind of like I guess I can talk to this again. Last episode went to the arcade with my wife. This time went with my son for just some father-son time, and he loved it, man. It was a blast. Played some Guitar Hero. He really liked Skeet Ball. You know, just a classic.
Yeah.
I've never actually played Skeet Ball.
Oh my goodness.
I've also actually only been to an arcade once in my life. For a cousin's bachelor party.
Well, next time you're in town, man, we're gonna go.
We'll definitely have to check that
out. Definitely. We have. So I'm from Chicago originally, and up in Chicago, there's a famous arcade called the Galloping Ghost, and I think it's the biggest arcade in the United States. It's got like 700 cabinets.
Oh, dang!
Wow.
It's awesome because they've got everything. They've got more modern stuff, but they also have a ton of retro stuff. They got an original Pong cabinet, anything you could imagine. Cool. And you pay $20 and it's free play all day. And you can hang on to your receipt. You can pop out and go get lunch and come back, and it's just free play all day long. So whenever I'm back up in Chicago, that's one of the things that we have got to stop and do is Galloping Ghost. I mean, dude, we'll spend a whole day there. Just playing like root beer tapper, I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Man, that's so fun. Yeah, our arcades are great. I am glad we actually have several here where I live that are like barcades.
Yeah,
but this one, although it has a bar, is definitely geared towards everybody. There were quite a few kids there, so that's nice. But it's just so well kept. They had I made a mistake. We went up to this cabinet. It's a Cuphead cabinet.
Oh.
And when I went with my wife, it was down for maintenance. I went with my son, and he went and was like, "Oh, can we do this one?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a hard one." And he instantly was like, "Oh, never mind. I don't want to play that." And I was like, "Are you sure, pal? I really want to try this one." And he just like, "No." So I accidentally spilled the beans that Cuphead is hard, and he was like, "Not for me."
Straight up Cuphead? Is it just the game?
I think so. Yeah. Nice. And it has it's
cool.
got the arcade controls. two players, so you can both play. So I'll definitely be returning there at some point and trying that out. So that
Did you manage to try some DDR this time?
We did, yes. Did some DDR.
Yes.
I am terrible at DDR. I forgot how bad I am at DDR.
Not to brag, but in a DDR Mario mix, I did beat the hardest song on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't as hard as other DDR games, not gonna lie though. It is very difficult, I think, but yeah, then I played some other DDRs on like a friend's Xbox, and I was like, these songs are stupid.
They didn't have enough Mario in them, you know?
Exactly.
That
I mean,
makes
it's
the
hard
game
to
better.
really feel the beat when it's not Mario you're jamming to. Plus, it has Waluigi in it.
Now. Oh, it does?
Yeah, he's the
pretty sure he's,
final
like,
boss.
the villain.
He's the final boss.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
Awesome.
Oh.
So great.
Yeah, closest I get to that is Ring Fit Adventure. They added DLC songs, so you can do like Jump Up Superstar.
Oh, yeah, those are so good.
It's pretty cool. It's cool.
Yeah, on your show
They
you
need to
talked
bring back another Mario DDR.
Yeah.
I will definitely be picking that up if they do.
That'd be awesome.
You said you were doing, you've been doing Ring Fit pretty regularly. Is that?
Yeah, it's going well. So I started at the beginning of the year. I would like to do it every day. It doesn't really work out that way, but yeah, so far I've dropped 11 pounds.
Nice.
Just
Oh, nice.
on Ring Fit
Nice.
Adventure.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's just kind of like a, typical weight loss journey kind of thing. And every month on the show, the last episode of every month, I pop in with an update because I was like, how do I keep myself accountable? And it's like, make content out of it. So that's basically what it is. But yeah, Ring Fit Adventure is a great game, man. That game is so good for what it is. It is so high quality, and I can't recommend it enough.
Such a good game. I'm loving it. I need to bust it out again. I've been very bad at keeping up with it.
It can be mean. Definitely.
Yeah, especially when you're stubborn like I am and don't want to I will never lower the difficulty. And that's a problem. They're like, hey,
Just like
maybe
for
you should up
professional
this.
athletes and stuff. And you're like,
Yeah, I'm playing on one of the hardest.
Like 5 times this week.
I'm playing like one of the hardest settings, and it's brutal. It is brutal.
I'm not that cool yet.
No human should do that many squats. Ugh.
Yeah. I like doing the squats. It is kind of brutal though. There's sometimes, especially once you get up into those higher difficulties, it's like, oh, you're killing me. You're just dying, But it's good. It's a really great fitness game. Like in terms of, I played Wii Fit and stuff like that. This is way better for my money.
Nice. Well, let's jump on over to the next segment of our show, which is the Nintendo news. And in today's Nintendo news, we have a little bit of stuff, not as much as we have. It's kind of nice. Feels like a good little breather week after Nintendo Direct, and then we had Pokemon Presents, and it's just both of our last episodes were jam-packed talking about news for a lot of it. So this week it's been a little bit lighter. We'll talk first, I guess, about Mario items being added to Animal Crossing. In addition, we'll be getting some St. Patrick's Day items. Those will be available from the 10th to the 17th. And then recently, the Sanria crossover characters and items were introduced to Animal Crossing.
Man, yeah, I need that in my life. I have a little like frog cafe area, and one of the characters gives you, if you have the card or whatever, you can get a lot of frog items out of it. And I was like, well, you just sold a pack. You just sold it.
Yeah, it's really cool that they brought those back and that they're like full on characters, and
Yeah,
it's wild and makes me very excited for the possible future of crossovers with Animal Crossing. Especially as big as it's gotten, there's a lot more that could be done.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for Doom. They can still have
that would actually be amazing, and
I would love
it
it
would
so
break the
much.
internet.
Yeah, it would.
It would. I honestly though, with the Mario stuff especially, the whole time I'm like, this is awesome. I love the implementation. I really hope they do Zelda. And if they do Zelda even half as well as they do Mario, I am going to be thrilled.
Yeah.
I am really, really hoping they bring back the new Leaf Zelda villagers.
Yes, I was just talking about that today. That was so cool because for those that don't know, I mean, yeah, you had like a wolf that was like Wolf Link, and a pig that was Ganon, and a horse that was Epona. It was so cool. I hope they bring that back.
Gosh, yeah, that was just like the best crossover. Yeah, I would like kill for that. That would be so good. Yeah, so Animal Crossing just it's continued to get pretty regular updates, and people I know we were talking several episodes ago about people going, oh, there's a lack of updates, but it feels like a lot has been coming recently, especially with the Mario stuff, and then they're like just holidays, they're just throwing like all sorts of specialty items in for every holiday. Super Bowl got items. Super Bowl, that's weird. What? Yeah, so
big game day. Game day.
Yeah, it's not Super Bowl in Animal.
Yeah,
big game day.
Very very different.
Yeah, legally distinct from the Super Bowl.
Tom Nook, he's good. He's a good lawyer.
Yeah,
he's avoiding all
those
lawsuits
loopholes and things.
Yeah. That's why they we were talking. My wife started her island over. Wanted to kind of get a fresh start and do over. And she's like, I don't remember this, but when you go to the islands with Dodo Airlines, Wilbur, I believe, is the pilot. He's like, once we leave here, we won't be able to come back. I burned the flight plans for classified reasons. And you're like, what kind of sketchy business are these dodos running here where they're burning flight plans after you go?
I don't remember that. That's so funny.
You burn up all the natural resources on an island and then bail, leaving no trace.
Yeah.
They got some sketchy deal going there. Tom Nook's got them. He's got them covered.
Something dark there. Some dark undertones there. Yeah, what's going to be interesting to see, right? Especially now that the game has been out for just about a year. It's going to be really cool to see what they do going forward. Are they just going to recycle the same holiday stuff? Are we going to finally start getting some like paid DLC? I'm really curious to see how they're going to handle that.
Yeah. I'm curious as well. I think they could get away with paid DLC. People will pay. The game's install base is huge, so I'm surprised it hasn't.
30 million plus.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. So let's.
Me too.
But maybe they're sticking to their principle with it, and they're just hoping that by offering more free DLC, more games will sell, which is probably true. So.
It's working. It's working for them so far. I do think because they are very strategic with the terminology free update. The next free update will be at such and such time or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time before we start getting some paid DLC. They're definitely gonna charge you, $1 for a furniture set or whatever.
Right.
They're gonna have a season pass or something like that. I mean, when you have an install base of over 30 million players that own that game, that's just money on the table. They're not gonna leave that money on the table.
Yep. So, paid DLC, you heard it here. It's coming.
You heard it
but
here
Nintendo has always delivered on the paid content. So that's the thing, is it's not going to be worthless. So, I'm excited to see what comes. Moving off Animal Crossing, we have some new My Nintendo Mario missions up, and the pin set is, as of yesterday, still up.
Really? That's surprising.
For pin set 2. My brother went on yesterday, did a bunch of extra challenges. That's why they added more challenges, I'm assuming, so they could get some more pin sets out, because there were several people that just they couldn't get enough challenges done because they had expired. There were a lot of times.
Yeah, I was in that boat.
Yeah.
So I haven't done any challenges.
So that's cool that they did that, and that those are still available. Makes me feel a little less cool about spending my hour and a half refreshing the page on the day it was launched. But
it was so weird. I have no idea how it happened, but I forgot. I was at work when they went live, And I just happened to look on Twitter and I saw somebody post about it. I was like, oh, right, those went live. Man, I probably already missed out. And I just was able to pop on there, get my order in. Like, it was all within like 2 minutes. I had no issues at all. It was so weird.
Yeah, no, it took us a long time.
That first one, I was like in that boat. I was doing like, it was like 2.5 hours of just refreshing and trying to get that first set, but wound up getting them both. I don't have them in a cool shadow box yet, but
yeah, that shadow box turned out really well. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Just kind of randomly fit the one we got. So yeah. So pin sets, if you haven't snagged one and are thinking about snagging one, definitely check that out. They might still be available.
They're gorgeous pins.
They are. This one comes with a 35th anniversary logo pin that is massive. Huge. It is huge.
It's like the size of your hand. It's huge.
Yeah. In addition to that, we also had the Mr. Sakurai Presents Mithra and Pyra. Mm-hmm. Pyra and Mithra. I don't
know if it really matters.
And
order.
The character looked really cool. I'm actually genuinely interested in picking that one up at some point. They definitely put a lot of work into making that character a cool one.
Yeah.
And with that, we got some new Mii costumes. And one of those we've already talked about, Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins for Mii fighter costume. And then we also got some Monster Hunter costumes. And I believe there was like Rathalos gear armor and several like armor sets from Monster Hunter.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, Monster Hunter fans, because, you know, I feel so bad because it seems like whenever they put out some Mii fighter costumes, it kind of deconfirms the character. And I know a lot of people were hoping they would make them official characters.
I know people get bummed when they see these Mii fighter costumes. I personally get excited when they add cool Mii fighter costumes. Like I thought Cuphead and Sans. I just thought that was so cool. I'm like, what a way to add these characters in. I feel like it does justice to those characters. I can see being disappointed for the Monster Hunter ones, but Ray of Hope here. From what I think I heard, those were already in the previous Smash Bros. Game, so it may just be a re-release of the old costumes and might not necessarily cancel a Monster Hunter character. That being said, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in our community corner today. We got a question on Smash characters, so I'm excited to talk about that. Yeah, anything you guys wanted to talk about with the Sakurai Presents?
Just that Pyra and Mithra are super fun. We played a bunch of that basically as soon as they went live, and I'm really impressed with the way that they're always so impressive with the way they really lovingly put these characters into the game. And for folks who are, you know, I'm a huge fan of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That game is amazing, and they just really nailed the two characters' personalities, their move sets. I mean, they're a ton of fun. I've already gone through classic mode. I've already done the spirit board with them, and they both control super well. I love them. Nice,
man. I really liked when we did the Sephiroth. Man, I can't say any characters' names. all these Smash Bros. Characters' names. Sephiroth's boss battle to unlock the character.
That was great.
Oh, I hope they do more of that because that was really fun. A cool addition to just like a little unlockable thing. They're like, oh, well, we felt like he needed to have this, and so I hope they do more things like that. I'd forgotten that everybody has their own like classic mode path, so that's cool.
Oh yeah. Gosh, that's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, I need to go do that with Steve. I haven't done that.
Yeah,
I have unlocked.
Steve's is fun.
I have not purchased any of the DLC except for Steve. That was my like I have to. I can't not get that.
That's fair.
Being a longtime Minecraft fan.
That's fair.
So we talked a little bit about with the Animal Crossing decor making our own Nintendo Land, but Micah, worry not, because in 2025 we're gonna get Nintendo Land in Orlando. That's what
Practically just around the corner.
reports are saying, that
So close.
the postponed date went from being 2023 to 2025. And hopefully it stays at that and doesn't get
Not
pushed back
proposed
anymore.
more.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of that folks have been taking from the Japanese
It looks
version.
so cool.
It looks amazing.
I cry a little bit at the fact that I won't be able to go there.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just really hoping that when we get the Orlando version, there's been rumors that they're going to do like Donkey Kong expansions. It'd be really cool if when Orlando opens up, they just have all of that already. And I would love that. But honestly, no matter what it is, I've got to go back. So 2017, my wife and I made a trip to Orlando. That's actually where we got engaged. And we loved it. That was my first. I've never been to an amusement park before. That was my first experience with that. Never been to Disney, nothing like that. And
Wow.
now that they're doing this, I'm like 2025, whenever this thing opens, we're going to be spending way too much money and we're going back to Orlando.
Yeah, I'm located in Florida, and I will hope to still be in the area at that point, and will definitely be there day one. Even if I'm not here in Florida, I probably will be there day one. I'm just so excited for it. It looks really good. And yeah, it's supposedly got a lot more area purchased for the expansion here,
right?
Where Japan is limited in space. And if you, that is one thing I noted from the videos, is it looked pretty compact. I really doubt that's going to be that way here in Florida. In the same way, if you go to Disneyland versus Disney World, Disneyland is packed. Disney World, you got to take like a bus between parks. And it's a walk between rides, but a very pretty walk. It's just the scenery and decor is just so awesome. So I'm excited to see Universal has gone above and beyond on what they've done for their other parks here in the States. So it'll be cool.
Yeah. Because aren't they adding it to this? It's called like Epic Universe or something like that, like a whole separate park.
Yep.
Basically. So yeah, it should be a lot bigger. I got to get on the Mario Kart ride. I got to buy all the merchandise. I got to eat the food. Like,
I know that's where
so cool.
We got to save up an extra like $1,000-$2,000 for souvenirs. Unfortunately,
easily.
I guess it's kind of a good thing it's coming later. It just gives you a little more time to save up some of that cash.
Some life savings away.
Yeah. There's a positive to that postpone. Well, since we're on the topic of postponed, let's talk Post Malone.
Post Malone.
Oh yeah, I was waiting hardcore for that segue.
Yep. I could see it in your eyes. You were like, yes.
Oh well, Micah, what were your thoughts on the Post Malone concert? Not a regular one, the Pokemon one, since this is a Nintendo show. The Pokemon 25.
It seemed slightly out of place, I guess. I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird. It seemed like a regular animated, I guess, concert, but with Pokemon in the background.
Yeah,
it seems like they put quite a bit of effort into like the Pokemon animations and stuff.
Right.
It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it looked good. It sounded good. It just was like, what is happening right now? Yeah. I'm like listening to Post Malone sing Post Malone songs with, like Umbreon just kind of vibing in the background. Yeah, that was weird. What's happening right now? What am I watching?
That was my big question leading up to the concert. I was like, so are they going to have him do like
I want to hear some theme songs.
Well, yeah. So I was like, is he going to do more? He did the Hootie and the Blowfish cover. So I was like, are they going to do more 90s songs? Are they going to do the kind of, the NSFW Post Malone songs, for the Pokemon concert? So it was weird, man. And so this is something that is a specific problem that I have with a lot of media, because I am kind of a novice audio engineer and sound editor. And so I have a habit of picking up bad audio editing. And there's a couple of little annoyances watching that concert, especially when you could tell that they were just layering the pre-recorded music on top of like random clips of him on a soundstage pretending like it was live. So that kind of took me out of it. But otherwise, I kind of like that. We were talking about this on the show. I kind of like how short it was. It's only like 12 minutes. I know a lot of people were bummed out by that, but it makes it really rewatchable. It makes it really kind of easy to pop in and watch a just weird, bizarre Twilight Zone, Post Malone Pokemon music video, basically, is what it is. So it was cool.
They got,
you know,
more music and artists coming, sounds like.
Yes. That's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
This felt like Pokemon's attempt to be Fortnite. In my mind. Fortnite has done some very cool live concerts, which Micah and I both participated in a couple of those.
Marshmallow.
I'm only remembering Marshmallow as well.
Yeah,
they've had lots of events, like live game events, but the Marshmallow concert, wow, that was awesome to watch while playing in the game. And if Pokemon had something going like that, I feel like this would have fit just so well in that. But they don't, so they're like,
right,
here's a video. But it was
Post Malone live in the laggy wild area in Sword and Shield.
I mean, they could have done something like that. That would have been cool, like a weird limited time raid.
He's just the Gigamax boss.
Giga Malone.
Gigantamax.
Yes, that would have been amazing.
Oh man.
I do feel like mainstream media is trying to hit into these gaming markets in certain ways, and Fortnite's probably the best example of that with what they've been doing with showing movie commercials and music videos and and Pokemon is definitely trying that out with their 25th anniversary, working with these mainstream media artists. And I mean, I don't know, maybe Post Malone's really big into Pokemon. He said it was a big honor at the end. He was like, this is I'm so excited to be here. This is an honor. He was a little weird looking in the I couldn't get over it. It was kind of uncanny valley, too far into the uncanny valley. But
yeah, it just, it would have been cool if it was an actual live performance, if they had him in a mocap suit or something. And they had
real Pokemon.
Actually, real live Pokemon with him. But no, if they had him in like a mocap suit doing an actual live performance or something like that, and every now and then you could actually see him in the flesh to kind of like illustrate that it was happening live and not just, pre-rendered from months ago,
Yeah.
So
my favorite,
it is what it is.
My favorite take I saw from it was like, imagine being a trainer and looking up at a flying rock with Post Malone singing, just goes cruising past you. Just like,
it grants your wish. Post Malone grants your wish.
It's just so weird. Well, we're gonna talk now. We'll move to the next segment of our show, and this is going to be kind of the meteor section here. Let's talk the rumor mill. Now, the rumor mill is on fire, guys, with Switch Pro. Switch Pro rumors are a-flying. And I wasn't really going to talk about this or emphasize it too much, but I think it kind of became a big thing once Bloomberg picked up the story. And, well, they didn't pick up the story. They're the ones that really fanned the flame here and started with a report that they had talked with insiders and gotten some details. I'll kind of list out high level what we've got. The rumored specs on a Switch Pro are we are getting an OLED, an OLED screen that will still be 720 pixel and is going to be 7 inches width.
Instead of 6.2, was it?
Yeah. So the thing I saw is if you like take a look at I'll turn it on. It'll make it a little easier to see for those watching the video. The Switch, if you turn it on, it's got that black bezel on the outside of the screen. So basically just go...
Getting rid of that.
Getting rid of the bezel. Just go the full width, maybe a little... It's a little less than that. And that's the size of the screen that is being reported as in production. And apparently, production on that is going to begin in the June timeframe. And this Switch Pro is also reported as being 4K when docked. So very interesting. There's
That's
also
a pretty big jump.
Prior to that, rumors of DLSS being added to the internals of the Switch. Now, I'm not a huge hardware guy. I'm not like a pro PC builder or anything like that.
Yeah,
but,
nothing.
But from what I do know, 720 on a screen that big is going to look fine. It's going to look crisp and clear.
Yeah.
OLED screens are very good with color because they have like individual light turn on off capabilities. So black is actually black, not a light emulating black. Yeah. So the colors will look a lot better if this is truly what the specs of the Switch are. And so I guess what were your guys' thoughts on this rumor becoming a big deal over the last couple days?
Yeah, I say this all the time on All In. When there's enough smoke, there's fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of thing where Bloomberg has reported on Switch Pro rumors before. They're somewhat corroborated. I mean, a rumor is still a rumor at the end of the day. We don't have any official confirmation from Nintendo, of course. In fact, they recently said that they have no plans for a Switch Pro in the near future, at least. So, but who knows? Maybe that was just PR speak. Exactly. So we'll have to see what happens. But I think the interesting thing here, this comes from Bloomberg's representative in Japan, and they've got contacts that work in these hardware manufacturing warehouses and whatnot, and so that's where they're getting information like this from. That's where they can find out, they're partnering with Samsung for OLED screens, and it's going to have like 4K capabilities when docked and whatnot, which, by the way, kind of needs to happen, to be honest, for the Switch to stay relevant for the next few years and somewhat compete with the competition. And so I mean, I'm not saying this is like a 100% certitude, but it's not nothing. And I do sort of feel like that time frame is it kind of tracks. If they were to ramp up production, they were saying I think like 1 million units per month or something like that. And so if they were to ramp that up in June, I mean, they could totally have it ready by the fall. Zelda blowout. Here's your Zelda games. Here's your, here's your Switch Pro bundle, blah, blah, blah. And really kind of knock it out of the park for the holiday with that,
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. If they're trying to start in June on production, I think they're shooting for a November timeframe on release. Mm-hmm. If this is all true, I mean, it could all not be that, and it could go as late as like April. I'd say because there's no reason. Here's the thing: is there's not really a reason to release a Switch Pro right now. The Switch is still selling like crazy. They're not really needing to breathe new life into the market. It would breathe more life into the market, and I think maybe that's their ace up the sleeve to try and continue to boost sales. Because at some point you got to go, well, when's this train going to slow down? When are the sales going to stop? And they're like, well, we're just going to keep pushing it farther. Yeah. With this,
why wait for it to slow down? Just speed up.
Yeah,
that's kind of the thing, right? They found themselves in a weirdly advantageous position because when the pandemic started, folks were buying these Switches up faster than they could even make them. They were impossible to find for a long time there. Animal Crossing blew up and all this, and then coupled with that, their competition, PS5 and Xbox Series X, nobody could find them. So they're buying Switches instead because that's what's on shelves. So it was kind of that 1-2 punch that really worked in Nintendo's favor. And I sort of feel like they're going to want to have a Switch Pro on shelves this holiday because that may not be the same story this holiday. It may be a little bit easier to find a PS5 or a Series X this holiday. So they may want the new, pretty, more competitive thing on the store shelf. So...
Well, here's a question for you guys. What do you think the price point on that would be? Do you think this is replacing the current model? or is it a new upgraded model, and will it be priced? Because
that's a good question.
My thoughts are like, if it's a third model to be sold in the Switch family, you can buy the Switch Lite, the Switch, or the Super Switch, or whatever it's going to be called. Switch Plus, Switch Deluxe.
Right.
Switch U.
Don't do Switch U.
Yeah.
They can't price it the same as the Switch. Why would you buy the Switch at that point?
Well, they might price it the same as the Switch and drop the price of the Switch or Switch Lite, $50, $100, maybe probably not $100 for this Switch Lite. But I could see. I mean, they're cheaper to make than they were 4 years ago when the Switch came out.
It's true.
So I think it could still be pretty feasible for them to drop the price $50, maybe a little more, and still make money.
What are you thinking the price will end up, Micah? Like, what do you think the Super Switch will cost?
Well, I'm really hoping just like $300. Maybe $200. Well, it could be.
Maybe if you will it into existence, it'll happen.
Yeah. I doubt it'd be more than $400. I know Nintendo likes to keep their systems on the lower end cost wise, so I'd be very surprised if it was more than $400.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be more than $400. They're not going to want to have that is definitely an advantage that Nintendo has, and they're not going to want to have a box out there that is more expensive than the cheapest competition's box, So I think they're definitely, I think $399, maybe even $349 might be the sweet spot there, depending on if they were going to drop the base model. I don't think they will. I think what's more likely is they'll position it as, hey, we've got the Switch Lite for the more casual market. We've got the, and for folks that want to have that handheld only experience and save a little bit of money, we've got this standard Switch, and then we've got the Switch Pro as kind of like a premium product that is going to be more in line with, and maybe they'll even launch it with a game that has Switch Pro enhancements or whatever. And I think $399 is probably the right price for it if they have the parts to justify that. Like if it's got say improved Joy-Con, I think people will respond.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the range of more along the lines of $350, and maybe dock the price on the other two models. So we got a $250 Switch model.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Jump $50 $50 increase.
I think they will sell at $400. I do, but I don't know if they're going to be. I mean, they don't necessarily need to justify, but I don't think that this is going to be that much better than the current Switch. A lot of people are throwing out these predictions, which are just wish lists for Santa Claus to build their Switch, and it's just not going to. It's an iteration, and part of me thinks, well, maybe this is just an upgrade to the existing model, and so new models like we had last year with a new Switch model that
battery life,
improved battery life, and slightly better specs. It might be something just as simple as that. The screen is bigger, and maybe that's it, and it's just the next wave of the Switch model. And that would be fine too, and people would still buy it. Is the thing. Yeah. So I don't know.
Knows, maybe they're just prototyping random ideas, and there isn't really a Switch Pro coming out soon. Because
I mean, they've got the money to burn. They could do that. Like they could take a bite on that, even if it were more expensive to manufacture. They could afford to do that. But it's always the trade-off, right? It's always the trade-off of goodwill versus dollars. Of like, would this be more consumer friendly? Sure. But if we can make money, why don't we? I think people will still buy it if they just replace it. But people are, it's a Nintendo Switch, and like folks are gonna buy it no matter what they charge for it. Nintendo's a shrewd business. Like they know what their IP is worth. That's why they can come out and charge $60 for Skyward Sword, because you're gonna buy it. Yeah. So I mean, I would love for that to be the case. I hope they do that. But my prediction, to be honest, is no more than $3.99, and I think it'll coexist with Lite and regular Switch. But we'll see. Again, it's all just rumors and conjecture for now. But I think, again, when there's enough smoke, there's fire, and they gotta talk about it eventually. Come out ahead of it.
I'm really hoping that it does not segment the market, and that games don't come out exclusively for that system, whatever it is.
So yeah.
I really doubt they're going to do that, because they don't want to throw away the install base that the Switch has currently.
No.
And they know that the 80 million units they've sold of the Switch, that not everybody in that is going to go, oh, I want to upgrade. In fact, a very small percentage of those people will be upgrading to a new, more powerful Switch. And that's where, like, for the longest time, I didn't believe these rumors were even really had credibility, because I'm like, that's just the target demographic and market for the Switch is not people looking for better specs, because most people just don't care. For a lot of people that listen to our podcast, and for us ourselves, we're very into gaming, and we want those things. But you got to realize that, like, the Switch's market is not made up entirely of that. We make up a small percentage of the people that buy Switches.
Sure. And I don't necessarily want to pay more for those things.
Right.
I'm okay with having the graphics not quite be so cutting edge if it saves me $100.
Yeah, that's fair. I think those are some great points. And I also think, too, that the way that they might position, I don't think they're going to have exclusive software for it that's only going to run on the thing. That's just not smart. They've done that a couple of times. I think when they had the new 3DS, I think like Xenoblade port would only run on that or something like that. There may be one or two titles that float through that way, but I really don't think they're going to do that. But in terms of like people responding to it, if you put it out there and if you market it correctly with like, hey, this is what this game looks like and runs like on a regular Switch, and this is what it looks like and runs like on a Switch Pro. Like, if you're telling me that like I can play Hyrule Warriors at a steady frame rate on a Switch Pro, you know, that might convince me to upgrade if I like those games enough. If you're telling me that I can play Breath of the Wild at a locked 60, you know, that's pretty tempting for a lot of people. It's going to come down to marketing, and it's going to come down to how they choose to sell it to folks, because you're right. A lot of people don't care about that stuff. A lot of people just want to save money and want to play the games on their Switch, and they don't care. But all of a sudden, though, especially with something like an Animal Crossing or whatever, you know, these people are into this now, and they're in deep. And we saw with NPD, we track the NPD numbers every month on the show too. And we saw games that were suddenly selling again, like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. People were kind of picking up new Switches, and they were getting those games again. So if you come out and you say, hey man, those games you just suddenly picked up, they run a lot better now and they look a lot better now, it might be a tempting value proposition. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
True. Yeah, definitely can't wait to see what happens with it. I hope it's real. I will be.
Me too.
As a part of my Nintendo fan repentance process, I will be picking up whatever this is day one. So
that's fair.
Since I got my Switch later, and well, that about wraps it up for our rumor mill today. So let's move over to the last segment of our show, which is the Community Corner. And in the Community Corner, we have a few questions to answer today. This first one's a two-parter. Comes from Dan, our buddy from Retro Logic, on Twitter. Asks, let's get some predictions for the next two Smash character reveals. One, a real-life guess, something that could feasibly happen. And two, a dream guess, what you'd love to see, but probably won't happen in a million years.
Oh, man.
Who wants to start on this?
Yeah, so I guess, okay, so realistic, if I can only pick one, you know, we've got two more slots here in this last Fighters Pass Volume 2. They say that's going to be it. We'll see. The realistic one, I would say we're probably going to wind up getting some kind of. I know that this is going to make some people mad, but we're probably going to get a Pokemon representative from the new generation. In terms of who would represent that, that's a little bit trickier. If I had to guess, I would probably say Cinderace, or which may be a little too similar to Incineroar, but like I really think we're gonna get some kind of Gen 8 Pokemon representative, because it seems like it would be weird if Smash Ultimate would sort of let the sun set on a Pokemon generation without having that representative in there.
It's true.
So it'd be kind of cool for if they were to go for Cinderace, it'd be kind of cool to like work the the soccer ball in there and whatnot. So
what's the name of the legendaries for that one? The sword dog.
Yeah, so that's gonna be Zacian
Sword
and
doggo.
Zamazenta. Yeah,
I was just saying that just popped into my head when you were like, what represents the series? So we have had some legendary Pokemon like Mewtwo being added in.
Right.
Lucario is not really legendary, but he's kind of in that weird.
Super. Now that you mention that, it would be super interesting if they did Zacian and Zamazenta. I don't know that they'll split the fan base like that, but maybe like a Pyramithra situation.
Yeah, that could be pretty cool.
Well, they don't have any. They don't have any four-legged playable characters.
That's actually a good point. I think that's right.
Oh wait. Duck
Bulbasaur?
Hunt. Duck Hunt. Yeah.
True.
Oh yeah, Duck Hunt.
But true. But not many.
Not many. Yeah. So that would be unique. I'd say, but I don't know.
Well,
that's the number one thing.
One up it. Go with Ditto, and each smash attack he transform into a different Pokemon, and like each special's different.
Ditto's already in.
I don't think they'll do that, but
yeah, he's an assist trophy. But
kind of an assist
trophy, and he comes out in a Pokeball.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I just feel like in terms of a realistic guess, like, and maybe it's cynical of me, but I just feel like they're going to they're gonna touch on Gen 8 at some point. It just seems weird to leave Gen 8 on the table. And in terms of like a dream guess, and I'm starting to feel like more and more that this is a dream guess. But I'm one of those guys. I really want Waluigi.
Waluigi?
I really do.
I was going to put that for my real one. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Well, I wasn't, but yeah.
I want unfortunately, Waluigi. as we get further and further like down this Fighter's Pass, it's starting to feel like more and more of a dream thing. I would love it though. I want Waluigi in the game so bad. He would be so perfect because, and we've talked about this actually, I think our very first top 5 on the show is about this. And Waluigi represents the spin-off games. He's the king of the spin-off games. He never had his own title. So it'd be really cool to incorporate something from all of those games into his moveset, from Mario Golf and Tennis and Mario Party.
DDR.
Yeah, DDR, that could be his final smash, like work all that stuff into it. And then like a lot of people are like, oh, that's never going to happen. He's already an assist trophy. It's like, what character more than Waluigi would be so appropriate to be an assist trophy and a fighter?
That's
just the ultimate troll.
Yeah.
So
I respect that answer, and I hope it's not a dream. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, other than Waluigi, if another just kind of quick, I guess, dream character, I really would like Sora in the game. I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan.
Oh, there goes all my answers, guys. I'd really like Seth picked all my. Those were my. Yeah, Sorry. I would love that. That would be fantastic, I think. But yeah, that one's. I feel like that's far more of a dream than Waluigi. Unfortunately,
that's fair.
Just because of licensing, he's just too tangled in the web of Disney and Square.
Tangled. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why, I think you're right. It probably is more of a dream than even Waluigi because, it's a mess. He's a messy character to put in there, but it's the kind of thing where, like, what a mic drop moment that would be, man. Like, if they were to have Sora in Smash, that'd be crazy. There's already so many Square reps now, though, at this point. I really don't think we're going to get any more, but we'll see.
Yeah. Micah, you
I
got
feel
an
like
answer?
I don't have any like realistic guesses. I guess sort of realistic. I feel like they could do something with the Ratchet and Clank. I think that would, because I mean they got.
Oh,
I feel like they're kind of rebooting Ratchet and Clank a little bit. It's been a long time since their last game, if I remember correctly. I can't remember what the new one's called now, but I think that could be a pretty good boost to both games.
that'd be sick.
But I think that would be cool. But I guess my more wish list: Isaac from Golden Sun.
Oh, my
I would love.
heart.
I feel like there's so many cool things you could do with the move set. I would love that so much. That and Tetris L shape and Goomba stack. I don't know why. Someone mentioned those as a joke forever ago, and I'm just like, oh man, I would love that.
People would be so mad if they did Goomba stack. They'd be so mad, and I would kind of love to see it.
Yeah.
I remember one of my friends,
Me.
Kyle, when Wii Fit Trainer came out, was like, I'm so upset they went with this choice. This is terrible.
I remember that, him being so mad. And then I mained as Wii Fit Trainer for a long time, and he was like, this is the worst character. Because of the disappointment he felt when it came out. Then he got Cloud, so he was happy. So
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to go with.
Wait, I get one more dream Master Hand. Just popped into my head now, but I would love a playable Master Hand or Crazy Hand. Either works for me.
And
that's interesting because
there were those
rumors.
Oh yeah, in Melee, I think.
Yeah, hardcore, man. There's rumors with all that stuff going on. That'd be so cool if they actually called back to that.
Yeah, I would love that. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. So this is gonna sound kind of dreamy, but I think this is a realistic guess. Is Master Chief from Halo. I feel like Xbox doesn't really have a rep in Smash. You can loosely count Steve, but Steve existed prior to Microsoft purchasing them, and
so did Banjo. Yeah.
Yes. So those, I don't really tie those as going. I don't tie them to the Xbox either at all. Like those characters are tied to completely different. Minecraft, I think, is a PC game still in my mind, and Banjo's an N64. Like that's just the way.
Which is weird because I think they've owned Rare longer than Rare ever worked with Nintendo at this point.
Yep.
So
it's just where those characters are rooted, I guess.
It is.
So, who better to represent Xbox than the face of Xbox, which is Master Chief? And I feel like they're saving it for the launch of the new Halo game, or closer to the launch of the new Halo game. They have worked pretty closely with Microsoft on getting Cuphead over. They have Cuphead is in Smash, so that's. I feel like it's actually pretty realistic and makes a lot of sense. His moveset, I think, would be interesting, like a mix of using different weapons from in the game. And yeah, I think it would be a cool character. I would dig having Master Chief as a character.
I'd love that. Yeah, I would love that.
That'd be cool.
I would really like to have these kind of representatives, real representatives from Microsoft and Sony. That's why I love the Ratchet and Clank answer. That would be so cool to see, because even though that one is hard because there's a lot of bad blood between Sony and Nintendo that goes back decades, and so I don't know. Well, that'd be great though. I would really love to see these kind of representatives. Like you said, we've got Banjo, we've got Steve, we've got Cuphead even, but like you said, Andros, it's very much not, Master Chief is the Xbox guy.
Yep.
Like when you think Xbox, you think Master Chief. So that would be so cool. I would love that.
And then I guess for Dream, you guys have already kind of hit all of my Dream characters. I would absolutely love Waluigi, and then Sora was my pick for the Dream. But I'm trying to think on every fighter pass that we have had, and
one.
Well, we've had 1, 2, and then we also had the ones for the Wii U.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been a character I have never personally heard of before. Prior to Smash Bros, I had not heard of Bayonetta. I know that's like sacrilegious among some circles, but yeah, I'd never heard of that game. I was like, who is this? This was the top voted character to be added, because they did it right after that poll, if you guys remember that whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and with the last one, it was Terry. And so I'm trying to think of a game that is maybe really popular in Japan, or maybe a classic game that has a lot that had a big following in the past and would be revived in some way, like they did with Terry, something like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't know any of those.
Right, of course. I had one when we did that top 5 way back when. One of mine was Dig Dug. And,
yeah.
It'd be super cool, and you know, they work pretty closely with Bandai Namco. Nintendo has them co-developing games for them. We've got Pac-Man obviously in the game, and Duck Hunt is even kind of from that, not from the same company, but from that era of old school arcade games kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love it if they did Dig Dug. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, so I guess my
Echo the Dolphin. I also want that now.
my dream pick is Plock.
Just yeah.
Plock, yes. Shout out Plock.
Shout out Plock.
Yes.
That would be
I
reviving a
hope
game
they have a
from the dead.
reveal with Plock, and then it's not even Plock. It's just some other random character.
That would be just like targeted attack on me, I think. I feel like that would be that would be like, hey, you know, I know you specifically wanted this, and we're ripping this out of your dreams right now.
Nintendo's been trolling me lately too with these part-time UFO posts they've been doing on Twitter. That, you know, maybe they got part-time UFO in the works for Smash.
That would actually be that would be a fun character.
I'd be down for it.
I would. What we were talking about with the like four-legged Pokemon ideas. I want unique characters, and I know a lot of what's popular won't actually be unique. You know, if they add Sora in, people are going to complain about another anime sword fighter. And you'll be like, well, no, he doesn't have a sword. He has keys. Yeah, right.
Oh, wow. Very different.
But a lot of the characters start to feel the same. I mean, you look at the roster, and there's a wide range of characters that are using swords in some way that aren't really like... They're unique, but on the onset, it's not like super unique. Just because of the type of their weapon. Too unique when
there's like almost 100 characters now.
Yeah. Which is why I thought Min Min was awesome, having an ARMS character. I was absolutely blown away there was not an ARMS character in the base game. Like that blew my mind when they were not announced. So I think having some more unique characters, and I don't know how exactly you hit that other than doing more things. Like they talked about with Pyra/Mythra doing a Rex Pyra combo, like Ice Climbers, but they were like, it's just too much. But if it's a simpler character, we could get another Ice Climber type duo, or the Chorus Kids was rumored for a while, like a triple character. Goomba Stack be a good triple character.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That's my number one now. I just want Goomba Stack.
Oh yeah. Ever since Piranha Plant, I was like, oh, give me these crazy characters.
Yeah,
I authentically really like Piranha Plant. Like I know everybody was mad about it. I actually really like playing as him.
Yeah, it's like my troll character because I always just use the spike ball and the lunge falling over.
Oh, I love that. I love those attacks.
But it's Piranha Plant's just really fun to play as.
I hope that's what we get for Waluigi. Waluigi just gets thrown in as a bonus. That's kind of my hope. Okay. Is that, you know, Piranha Plant was like, hey, thank you so much for, what did you even get that for? Was that for...
It was for, like, early adopters or something.
Yeah,
I think it was like a pre-order bonus.
Yeah, if you bought Smash Bros. Within a certain window.
Yeah, you could, like, I think it was, like, almost 3 months or something you could...
Right.
Maybe they release, like...
Get it.
They release that standalone Waluigi game they've got in the back, you know, and then if you pre-order that, you get him as a Smash DLC.
What would that even be like?
Dude, I have thought about this for a while. I would love a Wario and Waluigi partners in crime.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Sounds like-
yeah. Let's
I would
bring
love
back
that.
the Mario Luigi
Yes.
series, but with yeah.
But with them, yeah,
That'd be
make
fun.
that their little spin-off series. It's time. It is time. It is absolutely criminal that Waluigi has not gotten his own game, and you know that Nintendo knows that fans want one.
Yeah, the amount of disrespect to Waluigi is
Why?
astounding.
Here's the thing that blows my mind. Why is he not in any Wario game? What?
Right.
He would fit so well in WarioWare. Just as just anything, any mention of him in there.
Probably saving him for like the F-Zero reboot. Instead of Captain Falcon, you got Waluigi.
I mean, I'd play it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not really that big a fan of Waluigi or F-Zero, but I would definitely play that.
The weirder it gets, the more Micah's in.
I mean, yeah.
That's I do think Waluigi deserves a spot.
He does.
I feel like I've thought this for a long time. Mario Bros as a series with their games. So you got Mario 64 on the DS. Wario was playable. It's like just toss Waluigi in there too. It's just another hat he can put on.
Right.
And they just they just refuse to give him just even a little bit more outside of the party sphere. So maybe he's just he just likes to party. That's his thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's their logic for it. I do have one more that I think is actually pretty realistic. I know this is cheating. I know I've given out like 4 answers, but I think one that actually is fairly realistic is Dr. Robotnik, because at this point we've got villain characters to complement basically every character that has a major antagonist, and the big missing link, especially now that we have Sephiroth, is Dr. Robotnik. So I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd actually be really cool. And
That
they
would
got
be.
the second movie coming out at some point.
Right.
Yep.
Jim Carrey alt skin. Yeah.
Jim Carrey all skin. Yes. Oh man, I'd be all for that. Well, thank you so much for the question, Dan. That was a lot of fun. Good discussion.
Yes. Thanks, Dan.
Let's go to since we're talking Pokemon rep. Let's ask this question from Mugglemoo in Discord. And of course, I did not transfer that one over, so let me hop over there. Question is, which Pokemon is your spirit Pokemon? Which Pokemon is your
Gengar.
spirit animal? Gengar. Well, that one's just your favorite, right?
Well, which Pokemon is most likely to use self-destruct?
Wow.
Electrode or Voltage?
Electrode, yeah, okay. No, is this coughing know that? I feel like in one of the games.
That's a very dark way to take this, Micah. I instantly was like, Micah's a Snorlax. Like I was like 100%.
Wow.
But then I thought about it.
Choose to be offended to that if you want.
I thought a little bit more about it and felt like slacking was much more your speed. Because Snorlax is like a big guy that's asleep from eating too much food, which Micah isn't necessarily someone that like eats a ton and sleeps. Micah's just actually just lazy.
It's called being efficient.
And slacking represents that perfectly. I felt like I'm not giving my own answer. I'm giving an answer for Micah. Slacking
That's
is
fair.
one that has that rage-induced motivation for short stints of time.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of the time he's a sloth. That's kind of just like chill in there. And
Whatevs.
that's like Micah to the T. Micah's never an angry person, but every once in a while just exerts power levels well beyond what you expect from this is so insulting sounding. I didn't mean to make it sound insulting. I just thought that was perfect. Slacking.
That's pretty fitting. It's pretty fitting. I'll take it.
Micah sleeps a lot. That's what I'm getting at. That's
That's fair.
Except for when I was destroying Panel de Pong / having Panel de Pong destroy me.
there you go. There's that.
No,
But also I could tell you I beat it.
This is true. Yeah, I just Gengar is my favorite Pokemon, first of all. But I've also always, one of the reasons he is my favorite is because I do feel a little related to him in a weird way. I know that's strange, but it's
You are wearing a
I feel
purple
little-
shirt. I feel like you
This is true.
you planned
This
this.
is a Kirby shirt. But,
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice. I got my. You can't really see
nice.
anything.
Is that
Here's
Pikachu?
Pikachu's ear.
Nice. Nice.
It's really
Yeah,
cold
no,
in the
but,
room I'm in.
I feel I like his attitude and his personality. I feel like he's got this kind of mischievous nature. He kind of, I don't know, I kind of relate to that a little bit. And I don't know, if I'm thinking about a Pokemon that I'm the most like, I don't know, I'm a pretty like anxious person. I'm kind of neurotic. I don't know. That'd be a really good question for somebody else that knows me well. But if I were to say one for myself, Gengar is again my favorite Pokemon, but also the one I've always felt the most kinship to.
I feel like it's a solid
That's
answer.
good.
Gengar is your spirit Pokemon, your ghost spirit.
And he's also a spirit Pokemon.
Yeah.
Gosh, I didn't give any thought to one for myself. I can't. Probably like
Now I feel like I gotta come up with something for you, but I got nothing.
probably like an
Bonsly. You like green.
I was gonna say like an
Nailed it.
Infernape or maybe a Mankey, something that's really lanky, because I'm a pretty lanky guy. And high energy. I do feel like I'm a pretty high energy person, so something like that. I instantly was like, I'm like that squirrel Pokemon, the like I can't say it.
Bidoof?
Parchitsu,
Oh, yeah,
Pachirisu.
Pachirisu. Thank you. Yeah, I sound like an old man trying to pronounce Pokemon names.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe I would be like a Toxtricity or something like that. I play guitar, so maybe.
Oh yeah.
Toxtricity.
That's a good one. Yeah. So Bonsly was the best you could come up for me, Micah. After I put all that effort into coming up with slacking,
maybe, I guess. You are kind of tall.
that Sudowoodo actually is a very good answer.
An excellent one. Yeah, excellent answer.
A very lanky beanpole character that has kind of a quirky personality and is a roadblock.
React the way you would think.
Yeah, is a roadblock for many
rock.
people. I feel like that's accurate of me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you didn't say Magikarp.
Yeah.
Only because I hadn't thought of it until this point.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, thank you for the question, Muggle Moo.
Thanks.
And then we got our last question here, which I think is a lot of fun. This is from Tim on Discord from the Nintendo Dads. He says,
Tim,
I am your bearded fairy godfather, and I grant you one wish. No matter how hard you think it is to get them, if you could invite one person that's alive to be a guest on your podcast, who would it be and why? And this for you, Seth, will be for all in. Who would you like?
So
yeah.
So I thought about this, and there I think you even said this in the Discord chat. So many possibilities, and we have talked to some really cool folks. We've had you on there. We've had Tim on the show twice, as a matter of fact, and we've gotten some really cool folks on the show before. But gun to my head, I think I would have to go with Doug Bowser, and not because he's simply the president of Nintendo, but because Doug Bowser has kind of become a running joke on our show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
we've kind of turned him into a little bit of a character on our show where we'll have some kind of dumb idea and all right, Doug Bowser's writing that down. Doug Bowser's going to make it happen, kind of thing. So he's kind of our white whale. If we were to get him on the show, it would be like God manifesting onto our show a little bit. It would be really something else.
I love this answer. That's such a good answer. Because we can't say that here. We can't say, "Oh yeah, we want Doug Bowser on here," because we don't specifically call out to Doug Bowser to write stuff down like you guys do.
We mention Doug Bowser like every other episode for one reason or another. And actually, as a matter of fact, shout out to Tim. Tim was there when we started that. When we started that kind of trend, we had Tim on and we were talking about. I think we came up with a Luigi's bed and breakfast idea. And
yeah,
and I was like, Doug Bowser, make it happen, and it just kind of became a thing. So Yeah, Doug Bowser would be our white whale for sure. And you know, there are probably other people. If we were to have him on the show, he'd probably have to give us a very buttoned up PR interview. But just for the novelty of it, we would have to. It's kind of like when the H3 podcast got Papa John on finally. You know, it's kind of like that.
That's great. Micah, what do you got? Have anybody on the show?
Well, I think it would be great if there was another me on the show. A second
wow. Love that.
Because
you can have anybody on the show.
I am hilarious. So you just know there'd be good times. Well, not for all, but mostly just for me and me.
Love that.
I can't believe that you have the option. The Tim the fairy is coming in to grant you any wish, and you picked yourself. It's just it boggles my mind a little bit.
I mean, we could technically get Doug Bowser to come on the show, but it'd be very difficult to get a second me on the show without some magical interventions. So I think it's very reasonable.
That's great. Do you want to give a second best choice? I don't want to give you the cop-out answer of saying yourself. I feel like that's a slight cop-out.
I guess I gotta say, I feel like Reggie would just be real fun to have on the show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man. We'd have to get him to say everything, you know.
Yeah,
hey,
my body is ready.
Say my body is ready. Yeah.
Every now and then, I'll just kind of shoot my shot. Like Reggie will make a post, and I'll just be like, "Hey, Reggie, come on All In Podcast." Just like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? He ignores me. So.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well.
Hey. Brie Larson, same thing.
That would be awesome. Have Brie Larson on for your Metroid Prime episode. Just talk about wanting to play Samus. So for me, I have always wanted to meet and talk to Miyamoto, Shigeru Miyamoto,
right?
Masahiro Sakurai. I do feel like having them on the podcast.
My number 2.
I do feel like having them on the podcast, even though it's not realistic to get them on. I don't really logistically see with the language barrier it being as cool as just meeting them and talking to them regularly as to having them on a podcast.
Well, just add them to throw them a little extra magic, and you can both understand each other.
So. With that, I was going with I was thinking as well, like representatives inside. I decided to go. I think I'm going to go with more of a content creator for Nintendo stuff, and I'll probably say
Scott the Woz.
Scott the Woz.
So, yeah,
that'd be a great get, man. That'd be a great get.
He's guested on podcasts before. I'm actually tempted to reach out, but I
Shoot your shot, dude.
I also really want him on as a guest at some point. That would be very cool. So maybe we'll wait till the timing is right. He's not making videos right now. He's on break. So maybe that's now. But yeah, that's what I think. I'll say Scott the Woz. But at the same time, he's like a content creator. So this is what happened in my head. And when Tim asked this question, I'm like, this is why I would not do well with a genie or any sort of wish pressure. I would never make a decision. I'd be sitting here going, well, it could be this person or this person or this person. So I also think it would just be great to have Charles Martinet on.
Yeah.
You guys had the voice of Bowser on your show.
We did. We had Kenny James on the show for the Mario 35th episode. And we reached out to Charles Martinet. And I'm sure he had nothing else going on for Mario's 35th. I'm sure nobody else reached out to him. So, but but no, so that's a great example of just shooting your shot, and sometimes it works out. I mean, Kenny James, we talked to him for 3 hours. I mean, even well after the recording stopped, we just sat there and BS with him for forever. I mean, he's a really cool guy, and that was just a blind email. I was like, hey, I wonder, and sometimes it works out.
All right, Tim. You've heard our wishes. Now
Thanks, Tim.
Make it happen.
make it happen. The bearded fairy, Tim, coming in on podcasts everywhere. Really appreciate the question. I think that was a fun one. And with that, I guess we'll close out today talking a little bit. Let's talk about the 4th birthday of the Nintendo Switch. This has been 4 years of for me has been an awesome time to kind of really become a true Nintendo fan. Prior to the Switch, I did not follow news, and it's funny. It really all started with our pal Eli, who was just so hyped. He was back. He was on the hype train with the NX. He talked about it so much that friends that we had not hung out with for months and months got him for his birthday a Switch Fund jar. That's like we hadn't.
That's awesome.
That's how hyped he was, and his hype was infectious to the point. And I've always been a huge Nintendo fan, but I never like followed news on it. Watched directs like day of launch, that kind of stuff. In fact, press conferences were not a big thing for me until really the Switch generation of games, and it's really opened up the hobby in a new way for me. I'm not only enjoying playing the games that come out onto it, but also just the culture and fun surrounding being a fan of the franchise. And I hope that doesn't like discount me as a host in saying that. I had very much casually, but not casually, enjoyed Nintendo my whole life. But now I'm getting into it from more of a podcaster's perspective. And this has been happening well before we started this podcast. I just am a fan of the brand, and this 4 years has been a blast. It is wild to me to look back 4 years ago, how different my life was. I had a brand new baby at that point, and was like pretty newly married. Like I've only been married for a year or two, and was in college, and now like my life has changed so much over the course of the Switch's life that it does feel like it's been 40 years since the Switch came out. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. So I don't know if you guys wanted to give your little happy birthday speech for the Switch.
Sure. Yeah, sure. For me, the Switch is my favorite Nintendo console. For a lot of reasons, and the library, of course, is amazing. The big thing for me, though, if I had one kind of word to associate with the Switch era as it relates to my life, it would be community. And that's because it's got the Switch. Every Switch has built-in multiplayer with the Joy-Con, just full stop, built-in multiplayer. Boom, you're good to go. Yeah. That's been an amazing thing for myself, my friends, my family. The fact that I can take the Switch with me wherever I go has been a huge thing for me. And again, it creates these experiences of like, hey, whenever I have to go, I'll do laundry at my parents' house, and I'll bring my Switch over. Me and my little brother will play Crawl or something like that. And maybe we'll do a round of Smash or something. And that's been a big thing. But then also, to touch on what you said, Andros, very much like you, I have been doing podcasts just kind of laboring in obscurity for many, many years. I've been doing podcasts for 6 or 7 years now. And that's, when I kind of got into the Nintendo thing, being a lifelong Nintendo fan, and when, Eric and I decided to do All In and do a dedicated Nintendo podcast, that was kind of the eureka moment for me. I was like, well, we both love this thing. We're both super passionate about this. And that's when we got involved with the Nintendo community and met folks like you and the Nintendo dads and stuff like that. And we just made all these really cool friends. And that's something that I've never really had on the internet. I've never really, not to get like too real on you, but I've never really had an online community to call home. And the Nintendo community gave me that. And so I've really enjoyed getting to know everybody and the Switch era will always represent community to me.
Great. I love that. That's been what
really
it's
good.
been. Micah.
No. Yeah, I was like, no, I have to go after that. Wow.
Close up. If you want, we can get your clone in here to do that.
Oh yeah,
that
perfect.
That Tim
Please.
Get that Goomba stack rolling in.
Yeah. But actually, to build out a little bit of that, I feel like the Switch has been a really good system for like helping me stay in touch with a lot of my friends as we've all like moved apart and whatnot.
Yep.
And I still talk to like all my friends essentially every once in a while, shoot them a text. But all of us that like still play the Switch and all these Nintendo games together, we like talk every week at least. So it's been really cool for that. But yeah, my life has not changed all that much in the past 4 years. I've essentially just been in college the whole time. So I just got to find an internship now, and then I'm all good. But
yeah, I didn't think about that, Micah. You're like 100% right, because over the course of the time I've moved twice, several times within similar areas, but twice big state moves across the country, and it's how I've stayed connected with you. It's how I've stayed connected with our other college friends. How I've stayed connected with my siblings, where we're all playing the Switch together. It basically extended what we had in like our high school and early college life with the Wii and Wii U. The community we had locally, the Switch has basically made that possible online, and so we've continued that community and revived it in some ways. And that's so cool. I am very thankful that I got the system. Yeah,
and being able to play on the go. When the Switch was first coming out, I was like, I'm not really going to use the undocked capabilities all that much, and I think I do that more than I play on the TV now.
Same, yeah.
I mean, when I was off like at college in my dorms, I didn't really have a TV, but even when I do have access to a TV in the dock, a lot of the time it's just like so convenient.
Yeah,
to play in handheld.
Well. It's with that, I guess we say happy birthday to the Switch. This has been a great 4 years. I mean, it's not been perfect, but what console is, besides the GameCube for Micah.
I do love the GameCube.
The GameCube is the perfect console. Oh man.
But
one of my favorite games.
I'm looking forward to another 4 years with this system, because I'm guessing that we're gonna go longer. It's already been stated several times. Like we're going for a longer console lifespan.
For sure.
And with its success, I don't see them completely abandoning it. It's going to be 2040, and they're going to be releasing Just Dance on the Switch still, kind of deal.
Definitely. They were still selling on Wii for the longest time, still holding on to that.
I do feel like the Switch is on its way to surpass all previous Nintendo consoles. It's been boosted by pandemic numbers, but at the same time, it's just the sense of community that the console has created, and it seems like the peak for Nintendo as far as what games can be. You can't really say that a previous system was a better system. You can remember it nostalgically and with fun, with those memories, but by comparison to what this one has done and is capable of doing, I don't think anything else holds a candle to it, because everything else built to this.
Yeah. And what an exciting time! What an exciting time to be us, to be fans and content creators. This has been such a cool time to be somebody who produces Nintendo content. I mean, I've been a Nintendo fan for 30 years, and I mean, we have never had a more exciting time and never had so many cool things to talk about, just constantly. So, I mean, I'm just super, super happy with this whole era of Nintendo. A very happy Nintendo fan.
Yes. Same here. Well, with that, I guess we will close out today's episode. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. If you would like to follow us on social medias, you can do so by heading on over to Twitter. We are at Nintendo Pals. And on Instagram at Nintendo Pals Podcast. We are also on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe, like, and bell buttons, and share with your friends.
Thanks for making me shower at least once a week. So.
That was the most college statement I've ever heard.
It's like, it's a podcast day. Gotta shower.
And I guess special thanks to VGR for the intro music we use for the show. And Seth, do you want to give a plug to your stuff?
Sure, yeah. We're All In a Nintendo Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at All In Podcast. You can find me at $2 Hero. We are also found wherever podcasts are sold, listening to, streamed. Google Play, Spotify, all that stuff, iTunes, we're there. So definitely check us out.
Yes. So I guess with that, and send us off with a closing remark.
Yeah, really, really short and sweet. I'm just going to say, thanks, Bobby.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.